Hey, good morning, garden folk. Rained out here in Arizona. But while I'm out here, I'm going to show you guys how you get brand new basil from maybe your old, well-established basil. Literally, and I'll do a cutting for you guys, but literally, all you do is you take a few cuttings, and my basil's pretty old, so the stem is pretty woody. This is what you call woody. The difference between woody and herbaceous. Herbaceous would be, see this nice tender green growth, because I trimmed this basil back about let's say 2 weeks ago to get cuttings, and now new growth is already grown because I fed it with some blood meal and whatnot. But back to what we're talking about. So I have woody growth. This didn't really do so good. Let's cut this out the way, but I did get a lot of success, and I actually planted up majority of ones I got success from, but as you can tell, definitely got some roots from these guys. And all I literally did was get some woody cuttings, not totally woody, and I trimmed them from the bottom up, and I chopped off the top. I'll give you an example. So I trimmed off the top, and I gave it a haircut and cut all the leaves from the bottom. And I'll show you guys in a minute on how I did that, but just giving you a little rundown. And then I just pretty much set it in some water. And these are actually not my best results. Let me show you. Let me get to one like actually rooted out. And I'd say given it about a week, these guys rooted out. But of course, it's in the season. So, and I keep my house at about 90, or not 90, what am I talking about, 79, 80-ish, 81 in the daytime, 79 at night. So yeah, I just had it sitting in here for about a week. They already started rooting out, but the smaller guys actually are what rooted out the best. You're telling me it didn't work? It worked. So I wasn't really ever a fan of just the water rooting technique, but I guess it works. Let me turn the camera around so I give you guys a better picture. So yeah, very, very much good results on these guys. Let me shake them apart. I can be a little rough. But so I cropped off the top, and I trimmed up all the bottom leaves and got some roots, and I just set them. And then cheap too, guys, I cut 20-ounce water bottle about 3/4 of the way, so I just topped it off, filled it up with some water. I think I might even use tap water just because I was a little greedy, a little cheap. But yeah, these things are definitely rooting out. Pretty sure the temperature had something to do with it. I don't think it would happen if like you had some in water outside and the temperature is 65. Regardless, basil likes the soil or the growing medium to be around 75 to 80. But just showing you guys some results. Easy peasy. Actually, let me put these, just to give you an example of what I did. I cut the basil off, I trimmed it up, topped it off, and put it in water. Sorry about the camera skills, but bada bing, bada boom. Let me get my pruners and show you guys what I did. So I just realized I actually did a lot of trimming, but what you can do is, and that's actually a good question if the herbaceous can root out, but let me see, sorry about the angle of it all. Mostly just come in here. I did a pretty good number, didn't I? Let's see, that's a good one. Let me show you guys what I mean about trimming. So, what I mean about trim it up, I mean, so I got this cutting, and I take all the bottom leaves off. Take all the bottom leaves off. and it's hard to do this while on camera because it's not the best angle. And then what I would do is actually, let me zoom out. I would top it off. You can, preferred pruners, not your fingers, but yeah, I top it off. And why do I top it off? So that it won't really try to continue growing, and more energy will be into producing roots. So it's gonna be producing roots here, somewhere here, and I'm gonna go ahead and trim all this other stuff off. So give me a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this riffraff off. Put that right there. And while I was doing all this, I had a decision whether I want to cut one or two off. But there is, I guess, a discovery that any plant that already has leaves produces its own B1. So that's why I'm leaving leaves on there. And I'm gonna go over here, stick it in the water, and in a couple weeks I'll have some roots. Actually, a couple, I say even a week. You should see something in about 5 days, but just go ahead and leave it in there. Switch out the water definitely every other day, but I try to do it every day, but every other day is cool. If you have like 3-day-old water, not saying that's super cool, but it's not gonna hurt. But if you don't change, it's gonna start smelling, and it's mosquito season, so you might start getting mosquitoes. So hopefully that was some good video on how to just start some basil. Over and out, garden folk. So just to give you another example, here's another cutting, and what I'm talking about is I would crop it off at the top to stop the apical growth, so to stop it from growing up. Cut these off. Actually, this cutting, I accidentally let it sit for too long, so the leaves are droopy. But right there, then I would come down here and pick this up a little bit. And maybe it's a little much, but that's kind of literally what I would do. And then I would just dip it in water. Where's the water cup? Use this cup. And then I would just bada bing, bada boom. Here's another example. So this time let's start from the bottom. So I would just take these off. I mean, you can use pruners, you can use your fingers. Okay. And then just kind of top it off. See, I'm just gonna show you guys and then top it off. So science says any plants that already has leaves produces its own B1. So we want to leave a little bit of leaves and then put it in the water cup. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Let me get a fresh cutting and show you guys. Those are actually new shoots, so they're still herbaceous. Herbaceous being still green. Let me show you guys. Sorry, the plane making a lot of noise. So, as you can see, it's flowering. Go ahead and, like I said, crop it down. And since it's woody at the bottom, the growth is more towards the top. I'll just kind of pick it up a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this herbaceous part off. Definitely don't want to leave this many leaves, just because a lot of leaves, yes, it's going to produce its own B1, but a lot of leaves means it's going to demand a lot of strength, a lot of energy that it is not getting elsewhere besides within itself. So I'm going to take the leaves down, and this is what I like to deal with perfectly. Bada bing, roots come down right here. Maybe some people might cut one piece off because there's a lot of going on to try to support with no roots, but this is actually what I want to deal with. Let me show you guys. Bada bing. Let's go with another one. And trim it up just a wee bit. Oops, sorry about the camera angles. And then I'm going to crop it. Boom. Boom. Just put it in the water. Do we got another one? Do we got another one, sir? Just for science? Yes, we got one. Boom. Easy peasy. Got a little curve. Alright, so that's pruning basil to clone it to make more. So all these should have roots. I'd say within a few, maybe like 5 days, I want to see something. And here's the herbaceous guys. Herbaceous cuttings. Alright, plant folk, go out there and start your own plants.